Hey guys, Rob here, and today you join me for part 3 of saving a Ferrari F40, a sad eBay story. Now, as you can see here, the parts are in, and I've got a ton of detail parts for this build. So I thought I'd run through and show you what I've got, all the detail parts that I've got for this custom Ferrari F40 build, and there's some pretty cool stuff here. So let's start with the standard Pocher parts. So I was actually able to get a replacement front floor section. Now the one that came with the kit actually had some pins broken off that hold the front hood on. So this is a second-hand part, but it's in pretty good shape. It's not warped or anything, it's very straight, so it'll probably get a lick of paint, but that is the floor section which I so desperately needed so that the front hood could be attached properly. Now I've got some more Pocher parts as well. So I actually invested in a brand new front windshield for the model. The model that I had actually has like a black banner on the top, and I don't like that, so I was not sure whether I could remove that frosted banner, so I got myself a new front windscreen for the model as well. Now, having a look at the wheels, I may have to destroy the center cap to get the wheels unscrewed from the hub assembly. So I actually picked up this chrome sprue set, which actually has the center wheel carriers that the black nut and pin sit into. So I've got those as a backup, and I've also got the exhaust tips as well that come on this sprue. The ones that I have are a little bit discolored, so I've got some new exhaust tips to go on here, and if I need them, I've got brand new brake rotors as well that I can use as a base for the upgrade, which I will show you in a moment. So that's another piece that I've got. Now, another rack that I got was, if you saw the last video, none of the suspension components were actually glued together, which means I probably could have reused those, but I didn't know that when I ordered all the parts. So I got this this sprue as well. This is the D sprue, and this has all the brand new suspension parts on there, so I'll be able to actually use all the new stuff and paint those up and add all the Coney decals as well. This also has the side mirrors as well for the body. It's got the fuel flaps on there as well, and some inner panels as well. So not sure that I'm going to need half of those parts, but I did order that at the early stage. These actually came from Europe, from a seller on eBay, all these Pocher parts. And the other Pocher part I got was this other section here. Now this is the actual B sprue kit. Now this has got a couple of pieces that I wanted as well, which is the front and rear suspension hanger points. The one I have on the model that I pulled apart actually has twisted pins on there, so I wanted to put new ones on there, so that has those parts on there. And the rest of this sprue actually just has some dashboard parts, the air conditioning vents, steering column. Again, not sure that I will need all of these parts, but it does have some of the brackets for the door hinges and so forth. So not knowing before I pulled the model apart what I needed for the door hinges, I just bought this sprue kit anyway, mainly for the suspension hangers, but I will use some of these other parts as well, as including the new door brackets. So they are the 4 main parts that I got from the Pocher supplier. The other thing I actually got was the factory Pocher Ferrari F40 decal sheet. Being that I'm going to repaint the whole model, this has got all the little paint code decals, some of the gauges, warning labels, things like that. So I was able to pick one of those up as well, and they all came from eBay, from a seller in Europe. Now, while we're talking about decals, I've just got a bit of an assortment of decals here. that I'm going to use for the build. I've got some from Colorado decals. I've had these for a long time, and I'm probably going to use some of these little Ferrari emblems, maybe the F40 emblems. I'll use those for the brakes. And I've got an assortment of Scale Motorsports decals as well. So I've got some of the Kevlar, which I will be lining the front cargo area and the rear part of the body in that. I've seen some models that look really good in that. Now I've got some more sheets of this coming as well, because it is such a large model and it's going to require quite a few sheets of decals. I've also got a sheet of carbon Kevlar. This is pretty cool. I may use that for the back of the seats, and I've got 5 or 6 sheets coming of the twill weave carbon fiber decal as well, because I'm going to do the whole interior of the model, and as much as I can do, I'm going to cover it in carbon fiber decal. So there's going to be a lot of work involved in the decals, but it's going to be worthwhile. Now I've got another little leftover photo etch sheet from the Pocher Huracan build that I did. This has got lots of little clips and some pins and things that I'm going to maybe be able to use in this F40 build. But that brings us to the next set of photo etch parts. Now I love the manufacturer Tremonia. He has an eBay store and he has a lot of photo etched sets for different models, and he makes this jumbo set for the Pocher Ferrari F40. Now as you can see on here, it actually has replacement grills for the front in the correct mesh pattern. The main thing I wanted was this giant rear mesh piece for the rear clamshell to get rid of that ugly thick plastic piece that is in the Pocher kit. It also has an upgrade for the brake rotors. You've got some seatbelt latches and buckles in here as well. And we've got an instrument cluster surround, the spokes for the Momo steering wheel as well. Some more little clips and pins. And on this side, we've got more. We've got some of the surround trim for the rear panel, tail light surround trims as well, just to get, it just gets rid of those big thick plastic ones that come in the kit standard. And we've also got some accelerator pedals and windscreen wipers also. Now there's some nice little pins as well there. So this is a fantastic big photo etch set, which is really going to make a massive difference to the look of this Ferrari F40. Now they do come with instructions as well from Tremonia, as you can see here. I'll put a link in the description to his eBay store so that you can check out his products, but that's a beauty, that one. Now what else I got from him was actually all these cable tie or hose clamp sets. Now these are just a universal set with different sizes. You can see this one is slightly bigger. It's got some bigger ones here, but it's got all little nuts and bolts and washers on here as well, all in photo etch. So I'm going to replace all of the molded plastic looking clamps on this model, and I'm going to put all these little photo etched hose clamps on there. So I'm going to try and make this the most detailed Ferrari F40 other than an amalgam model. Now I got some different sizes here as well, and I have to say that he did send me some extras. He does know that I have this YouTube channel, so he did send me a couple of these little ones for free. But again, these are just smaller hose clamps, so we've got some medium size all the way down to these tiny little ones. So I'm going to absolutely go to town on this model and really try and make a absolutely magnificent looking model with all these extra little detail parts. And the other thing he did send me was the seatbelt kit. So he sent me some red ribbon and some blue ribbon, and there's also a little bit of black wire in there for something. I'm not, oh, that might be for the door pulls, the black wire in there. And he's also included for free some instruments for the cluster in black or in white. So big thank you to him for sending me those. It also came with a little decal sheet of some harness labels as well. And also There's some tiny little bolts in here as well, if you can see those. Now they are for the tail light surrounds, just to dress them up a little bit more. So quite small little bolts there. That's going to test my eyes. Luckily I have my magnifier. Okay, let's get that out of the way. So yeah, definitely go and check out Tremonia, link in the description to his eBay store. He's got some great photo etched parts. Now let's get into all of the awesome stuff. Now all of this stuff came from scaledetails.com. Now he has an eBay store as well, as you can see here, or he has his own website. So again, links in the description to scaledetails.com, and he's been making scale detail kits for these big scale models for many years. So this is the F40 Super Detail Kit, but we'll get to this in a minute because this is quite exciting. Now he does a heap of parts, and again, he knows I've got a YouTube channel, so he did send me quite a few of these bits and pieces for free, but I did pay for a lot of them as well. But let's start with these. So he did send me the seatbelt kit as well. That has the red harness material with some Seatbelt labels, and that does have the little clasp in there for the center lock seatbelt. So that's one part that he did send me. Now I've gone with lots of little details here, just to get rid of as much plastic out of this model as possible. So he did actually send me a metal gear shifter and a little polished metal gear knob ball for the top of that, and a metal photo etched open gate cover as well. So that is really cool. That is going to get rid of the ugly plastic part in the model. Now he's also sent me a pedal set too. So I've got an accelerator pedal here, and the brake and clutch pedal. These are all in photo etched metal. He also sent me a badge set. So I've got a little Ferrari badge, and I've also got the little Pininfarina side emblems as well, which replace the big thick molded plastic pieces which just look terrible. So great little fine details there. The little Pininfarina badges are absolutely stunning. Hopefully you can see all those. I don't want to take them all out of the bags because there's just so many parts here. He did send me a little key with a leather key fob for free, so I've got that in there as well. Now he did send me some upgraded door springs for when the model is reassembled. So these are for the door latches. Again, knowing that the model had some issues with the doors, I thought I would invest in the new door springs. Now the other thing we've got here, we actually have some little Brembo photo etch pieces for the brake calipers. So these are really thin with raised Brembo letters. So these can be painted and then the paint wiped off the Brembo branding, and they can be stuck onto the calipers. So got some little Brembo branded things there. Now another thing, I've got 4 little bolts here. I'm not sure what they're for at this stage, but I will make sure I use those. Now he also sent me the grill set for the front bumper bar. Now I actually got these in the Tremonia photo etched sheet, so he didn't know that obviously, but he sent me the front grille set as well for the model. Now another thing, one thing with the Pocher F40 is the model sits too low in the front. I don't think the spring capacity can take the weight of the die cast body, so he sells these upgraded spring sets. Now these are going to replace the standard Pocher springs and bring the F40 up to the correct height. So when I rebuild the suspension with the new parts, I will be adding these new springs in there as well. Now he also sent me some braided hose for the oil coolers. So we've got some of the thick braided hose here, and we've got some of the thin braided hose also. So that is going to make the hoses look a little bit more realistic than the black rubber tubing that is in the Pocher kit. This is another cool thing he sent me. This is actually a brake rotor upgrade set. So this has inner and outer photo etched faces for the brake rotors. You've got your center two-piece hat rings, and these little strips actually bend around and create the vented rotor around the side of the rotor. So really kind of him to send me that set. Again, I thought I was just going to use the brake upgrade set in the Tremonia photo etch panel, as you see there, but I think I'll use the Scale Details version here with all the edge detail to go around the rotors. So that's a really cool piece. And he sent me another little bag here, which has got lots and lots of little pieces in here. It's got some correct air conditioning vent covers to go on there. Again, some seatbelt material. We've got some like logbook paperwork. There's some more stuff in here as well. There's some proper fuel fillers, rubber floor mats, the Ferrari shields for the side of the model. Beautifully cast little photo etch pieces. I'm not sure whether you can see that. Bit of hand painting to do there, but there's some engine oil caps, and yeah, there's quite a few little bits and pieces in there as well. So really cool that he's sent me that bag as well. So Scale Details, you're a legend. Now let's get into the good one. Now this is the super detailed kit for the Pocher Ferrari F40, made by ScaleDetails.com, and this is a 400 piece set to super detail the engine. Now all these pictures here are of the standard Pocher F40 engine with his super detail kit applied. So you can see there's lots of brass pieces, bolts, hoses, clips. You can see there on the end an amazing amount of bolts, and there's also tubes, hoses, clamps. Now what you get with the super detailed kit is basically a list of what you get in the kit and a little bit of instructions, and also he gives you a full booklet. Well, there's an assembly drawing there. That is the Pocher drawing. I think that is the Pocher drawing for reference, but he gives you a full package of pictures, photos of the real F40 engine, what everything looks like, where all the hoses go, to use that as a reference piece. So there's 2 pages of pictures, highly detailed, so that you can see where everything is plumbed up to make this a super detailed kit. Now what he also sends with the kit is this. Now these are actually Ferrari's F40 parts or assembly diagrams for the real engine. So you can actually go through this and see in detail where every bolt and where every hose clamp goes. This is really invaluable information for someone that wants to do a super detailed model of the car. So you can see here it's got everything. It shows every hose location, where they go, and this is got pages and pages and pages of information of Ferrari's F40 drawings, as you can see here. So these are actual Ferrari technical drawings, as you can see there. September 1988. So that is all the paperwork that you get in the Scale Details kit. Now let's have a look at the parts, because there are 400 parts that come in this kit. So it comes in a bag like this. These are all the parts inside. There's one other thing I wanted to show you before we get into this super detail kit. This is also from Scale Details. This is a thin aluminium front splitter. Now the front splitter was broken on my model, so he sent me one of those as well. Now let's get into this super detail kit, because there are a lot of pieces in here, many of them very, very small. So we'll start with the big bags. So this actually has all the rubber hosing that is required in the model, in the engine compartment, and you've also got a couple of little bolts in there, some heat shrink tube, and we've got some little brass wire in there as well. I'll have to take my time to go through the instruction booklet to see where all that goes, but that is the little hose set that you get in the super detail kit. Next here we've got another little set here. Again, so many loose pieces in here. I don't want to open them up at this stage, but we've got cam belt covers, lots of long little bolts, and little brass nuts and bolts, as you can see in the bag. So I'm not sure how many parts are in there, but there's actually quite a few, and you can see how small those little brass bolts are. So he's been doing this for over 25 years, so he's really put some amazing things together. Here's another set here. I think these are for the inlet runners, these little plates, gaskets, and you've got all these cast brass bolts as well. So that's another little bag of parts. We've got another one here, so I would assume that these are for the red ignition wires, and we've got some fine wire in there as well, and we've got some more little brass bolts in there. Absolutely tiny little details these, but they look absolutely awesome. So I think those are for the coil packs, and we've got some leads as well there. Now we've got another set in here of these little metal plates, and another set of these long brass bolts with little nuts on the end of them. So we've actually got two of those. We've got some rivets here for something, and again some more little brass bolts and washers. Go through all the big bags here. We've got some intercooler grills here, which is something that I really wanted because the plastic intercoolers look pretty terrible on the standard model. So we've got the intercooler grills there in photo etch, which look pretty awesome. So that is going to dress up the intercoolers. And I've also bought some little photo etched weld lines as well. So I didn't dig those out, but I'll show you those when I actually start detailing the engine up. But this is a really great upgrade for the kit because, yeah, as I said, the plastic intercoolers just look terrible. So you've got these grills and then the slats that go on top. So really, really awesome there. We've got a couple of little rings here, not quite sure what they're for yet, but this is all for the engine. And then we've got just lots and lots of little brass turned bolts and rods. Look at that little one there, that's amazing. Little hex head bolt, hopefully you can see that. And then we've got more and more bolts. So all of these are made out of brass, if that will focus. Little brass bolts. We've got an alternator front fan here, and we've got some more little brass detail bolts. Everything is labeled, so it relates to his instruction booklet and his drawings where everything goes. Again, we've got some little photo etched pulley fronts and some bolts as well. We've got another little piece here, not sure where that goes at this stage, but we've got a little photo etch plate there and more of the little brass bolts. These are tiny little things, so yeah, amazing. It's going to be some great detail. Again, another little bag of bolts. And not sure what these parts are for. They look like little exhaust manifold gaskets, but I'm not quite sure until I get into it. And we've got some long stainless steel bolts in there as well. So as you can see, there are a lot of parts for this model. We've got another plate here, a round plate, maybe a crank pulley cover, and some more brass bolts. And here we've got some more brass bolts, and we've got a large AN hose fitting as well, maybe for one of the intercoolers, I would, or one of the oil coolers actually, I would assume that's for. So nice big heavy gauge, all out of brass, very intricate. Another little bag, a couple of little bolts in there and a couple of washers. Some more stainless steel pins in that one for something on the engine. So many parts here, I don't know where they all go at this stage. We've got another little bag there of brass bolts. So these are all super detailed and very, very intricate. Another little bag of bolts here as well. These are all in brass hex head bolts. Little brass tube and a bolt here, not sure what that's for at this stage. Another little bag of bolts in brass. So these are, as I said, they're all labeled, so there is a place for them all to go. Some tiny little threaded brass bolts in that bag. Another 4 little bolts in that bag for another part of the engine. And we've got some Magneti Morelli covers there in photo etched as well. So that is a huge amount of parts, around 400 pieces there, and that is just for the engine on this model. So it's going to, being that the F40 has the rear clamshell that opens up and you can see all of the engine in this particular model, I wanted to go for this one. Now this cost me around 400 Australian dollars for this super detail kit, and then I'm not sure, I can't remember how much I paid for all these other bits and pieces, but I did get some stuff sent to me for free from Scale Details as well. So that is all the Scale Details stuff. We've got all the Tremonia stuff that I showed you, and we also have all the decal sheets, and we've got all of the standard Pocher parts as well as a replacement floor. So as you can see, this build is going to be quite involved. I've got so much extra stuff to do to this model as well as repaint it, but it's going to be a really fun build and something that I'll probably keep forever. F40 is definitely my favorite Ferrari, or all-time favorite car. If I could only have one car in real life, it would be a Ferrari F40. So make sure you stay tuned for part 4, where I'm actually going to start getting into the model. Not sure what I'm going to tackle first, whether I'll start the body work or I'll start maybe on the interior, but make sure you stay tuned for part 4, and this is going to be exciting. So I hope you guys are enjoying this build series. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do. Smash that like button if you like the video, and make sure you hit that bell notification too, so that you don't miss any of these upcoming episodes, because there's going to be a lot going on with this one. But that's going to wrap up today's episode. Stay tuned, as I said, for part 4. But until next time, thanks for watching Rob's Model Cars.